My long-awaited book, Astrology Realized, is finally available and waiting for you at Amazon and other online retailers. Get one for you, your loved one, or as a gift. All part of your fabulous journey to understanding astrology. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous friends and fans. I am your host, Nadiya Shah, and this is Synchronicity, and this is your moment of synchronicity. I'm here with Eric Pride, astrological magician, and I'm so excited to learn about astrological magic. Thank you for being here, Eric.
You're very welcome, Nadiya. How are you today?
I'm very good. I'm very happy that you're here, very grateful. So, tell me about you. Let's start with you, your journey towards astrological magic. What has that been like?
Okay, well, it originally started in my studies in witchcraft, and which is, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like Wicca, but I'm not Wiccan. I have a coven in Lancaster. I studied at Witch School International, and in 2003 started with a coven I was studying with in Harrisburg, Astrology, and I just got bit by the bug, and I loved it, which really kind of led me to the arcane, magical texts of astrology, and found so many amazing connections between what we do as practicing magic was synthesized with astrology. It was just never completely addressed.
So name a couple of texts that you think really spoke to you very strongly.
Okay, there's two very important texts that anyone who's interested, the first would be the Picatrix, which is wonderful. You can buy it on Amazon. It's really hard to find on many other sites, but essentially it's an arcane formulary that breaks down different aspects and different techniques and specific timing for creating very wondrous effects.
I wrote an academic paper on the Picatrix, actually, and it's on my website, and so if anybody out there wants to see that. But yes, it's very moving.
It is. Actually, they say that the Picatrix, the text itself, is so powerful that even having it on your bookshelf will cause strange and mysterious things to happen.
That's probably why it was quite expensive back in the day when I was studying and writing academic papers.
It was. It can be a very expensive text. The second most important, I really think, is has to be Agrippa's work. Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, his 3 books of occult philosophy, which he wrote 4, but the 3 are really a synthesis of the ancient philosophers, the Picatrix, and some more arcane texts. He was wonderful. He was actually a monk, which is really interesting to consider that he was deeply rooted in Christianity. But it's not an easy read, but the chapters are very small, so it's nice to pick and choose and pick apart and play with.
So define astrological magic. How would you define that?
Okay, astrological magic I would define as it's almost similar to electional astrology, where you're really looking at very specific times when the heavens open up, and then you learn techniques to harness that power and place them in your spells, in talismans and objects, or even in yourself.
And so give us some techniques for those people who are very new to it, whether it's techniques or interpretations. Let's say somebody wanted to start adding a little bit of astrological magic into their life, just to see how it works, how they feel with it. What would you start with? What would you suggest?
Okay, well, any young witch, the first thing they learn about is the moon. The moon is such an important part, and its 2 primary phases, the waxing and the waning. So really very simply for your audience, let's say you wanted to bring something into your life, you'd look at the moon when it's going from new to full, so it's getting bigger. You get this wonderful Doppler effect to draw stuff in, so whether it be love or prosperity. And then what you do, you just get online and find some correspondences that would be great for that. Like if it's prosperity you want to draw into your life, you get a green candle. You can draw whatever it is that makes prosperity good for you, and then during the waxing moon you would meditate with that candle burning. Same thing with waning, something you want to get rid of, keeping in time with money. You're having money issues, but the moon's waning, so you would banish poverty. So you it's a whole lot of fun how you can play with stuff back and forth with that. So, I mean, that's really very simple. I assume most of your viewers are astrologers.
Well, I think a lot of viewers are students of astrology. a lot of viewers are just going to think you're so adorable that they have to watch, and it doesn't matter whether you're an astrologer or not. But hopefully, my hope is always like to enlighten and inspire people and to make their lives better in some way. And so what you've shared about the moon is really awesome. And I know so many people, and especially even astrologers, like one of the first things we start to notice is what's happening around the new moon, what's happening around the full moon, and that begins an awareness of our connection with the cosmos.
It does, and then another keynote on the moon that I really feel like I have to say is that if you are considering experimenting with this and trying it, make sure that the moon is not void of course. And if it's not something that you're able to calculate or find, there are plenty of online calendars that can tell you when it's like that, because we kind of consider the moon as the goddess. So when she's void of course, her cell phone's turned off and you can't reach her, and she's kind of like that point of power. So that energy that you're trying to harness is not going to come down. And then of course the sign, you can relate to what type of intention you have when you're doing it.
So I heard you say the other day, you said something about why you wouldn't want somebody to be born on a void of course moon. So tell me a little bit about that. Now, that's not exactly astrological magic, but it did pique my curiosity as to how do you understand the void of course moon? You just spoke a little bit about that. But how do you understand people who are born under a void of course? How do you understand as far as setting intentions and the void of course? Talk a little bit about all that.
Well, in Magick, we don't set intentions during the void of course. We kind of hibernate, magically at least. But as far as people who are born under the void of course moon, I have found that they're sometimes emotionally detached, and they have a difficult time connecting with their moms. And I know there's millions of us that are born with the void of course moon. It just becomes a very challenging thing to get in touch with our emotions, depending on the other aspects. I mean, the moon is a major player in the chart, but, I look at the rule of three. If there's three really key things in there, it can overpower the void of course moon, but anyone that's born with it is going to have that difficult time expressing themselves emotionally, because they're not connected to the moon in the way that people not born with it are.
So is there anything else you'd like to share about astrological magic? I'm just thinking about, there's always something, I believe that we are all attracted to whatever it is that we individually consider beautiful or beauty. So there's some beauty in astrological magic that attracted you. So share a little bit of that as we close up here.
Sure, that's really easy. My Venus is in Taurus in the 10th house. So I know, beauty, it's ruled by beauty, and then Venus ritual. So having all of that I find so much beauty in ritual and the comings and goings of the movements and lighting the candles and calculating when everything is going to be precise to perform stuff. That's what really, that sense of ritual and power just really attracted me to it. It's beautiful. That's all I can say.
Yes. And I also think sometimes we do these things, we don't always know why, but they appeal to us, and you could think of it as awakening a past life, or you could think of it as sort of resonating with something that you need. But there is beauty that is constantly calling us and asking us to reveal itself as only you uniquely could.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
No, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Eric. Eric Pride, thank you for being here. And thank you so much for being here to celebrate astrological magic and Eric Pride with me. Until we connect again, take care.